our best bets for each AFC division. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you do not already. Let's start with the AFC West here, guys, and let's look at those division futures odds, Steve, real quick, if you've got those as they come through here. So no surprise, the Chiefs atop the board -250, the Bolts +350, Raiders 9-1, Denver Broncos 16-1. Yeah, I'll start things off here, guys, with the Las Vegas Raiders. It was tough coming up for something for this team. You know, I sort of liked under 6.5 wins, but not overly confident about it. I really do like Brock Bowers, but I just feel like a lot of his receiving props are just a bit too sharp at this point. Plus, you got to factor in the QB position and whatnot. So I've settled on something decent and something that gives me a bit of confidence, even at -130. It is Max Crosby over 12.5 sacks. Look, this guy getting better and better every year. He's always healthy and has, I think, played in every NFL game of his career so far. 12.5 sacks in 2022, 14.5 last season. So maybe just getting better and better with higher numbers year over year with this Raiders team. The defensive line in Vegas, pretty solid. Malcolm Kuntz on the other side, chipping in with 8 sacks last season. Very good on the pass rush. Yeah, not a ton to really love about the Raiders going into 2024, but I do think Max Crosby has another big season in store. I like the over 12.5 sacks here. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on the Raiders going into the new season, but anything there, Tony?
I'm just curious, Andrew, if you like him so much on the over sacks, do you happen to like him in other markets like MVP or sack leader, things like that?
I thought about that because I believe it was Nick. Maybe you talked about him potentially as a candidate for DPOY last week when we were talking about NFC. There's just so many good defensive players and good candidates on that side of the ball. I just think, given his health, given his reliability, I just think that 12.5 is still pretty low for this dude. Not a ton of expectations with this team in 2024, but Tony, what are you looking at with Denver?
See, Steve is the only one that knows all of our picks because we sent them to him, but you guys just accidentally transitioned really well into my next pick because I've actually got Denver to finish third in the AFC West at +250. So when you put the odds up earlier, it looks like the Broncos are by far the worst team in the division, and I'm just not confident that that's the case. Sean Payton's a better coach than Antonio Pierce. Denver has better home field advantage than the Raiders. I just think that the talent on these rosters is actually quite close to each other, equally bad. And then you've got a better coach in Denver. So we all know the Chiefs are probably going to win that division. I'm going to give the Chargers second just because Harbaugh is such a good coach. And I know that roster has its problems as well. But that guy just wins wherever he goes. And he often does it quickly like he did in San Francisco. So I've got Kansas City, Chargers, Denver third at +250, and then the Raiders coming in fourth. I think it's
wow,
a coin flip between the Raiders and Broncos at the bottom. And if you're going to give me +250 odds, I feel great about that in third.
Well, you guys know I love Coach Harbaugh and forever grateful for him bringing in a ring to Michigan.
Let's go, Nick.
Fading the Chargers this year. Fading the Chargers this year, guys. I'm on the under 7.5 wins on the win total here. This team's just devoid of talent. They lost a lot of depth these past 2 years because they're paying all these injury-prone stars or aging stars massive contracts. Khalil Mack, a little bit of a bounce-back season last year, but got like 40% of his sacks in one game. So you got to think he probably takes another step back. Joey Bosa's always hurt. Derwin James is always hurt. I like the O-line. Herbert's banged up already. And the other thing is, guys, Greg Roman's offense, he couldn't make it work with Lamar Jackson and throwing around the football to a bunch of weapons. Now Herbert has like no downfield weapons. His foot's hurt, and the O-line is better, hasn't been great of late. So, I know Harbaugh's a quarterback whisperer. He loves to get better in the trenches, and I think he'll do that eventually. But this team hasn't stopped the run in like a decade. They've been actually brutal against the run too. The defense is injury prone, and I just like the idea of fading them at +225 here. I think there's a lot of value in that play.
Wrap up the West here, Steve, with those defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Steve, what do you like here?
So this was tough because there's a lot of options for the Chiefs, and I wanted to find something nice at plus money. Mahomes won MVP at plus 500. Maybe Super Bowl. Obviously, they're the favorites. I hate betting the favorite at the beginning of the season when the Super Bowl just doesn't feel like it works. So I found another cheeky one here that I really love. Isaiah Pacheco to have at least 10 rushing touchdowns at plus 325. Clear cut RB1 in this offense. There's no competition for catches. Travis Kelce's getting older. They have to keep him healthy for playoffs. Just get him there. This offense improved. They're going to move the ball down the field. When you get down the field against these weak teams in your division, they also play the NFC South. Weak run defenses there. I love Pacheco getting goal line carries and carries inside the 10. And first year in the league, 5 rushing touchdowns. Second year in the league, 7 rushing touchdowns. Let's keep that trajectory going at plus 325.